all effort must be on the table to see how we can grow the economy and make it a more productive economy. And that is why government should be commended when it recently set up the student loan fund, so that every student will be able to go to school by drawing from the interest-free loan. And that is a commendable venture. But another venture that the government dipped his hands into is the one reported that government set aside 90 billion subsidy for people going to Hajj. And I wonder why that is coming up in these days of economic downturn. And it is a misguided decision. And if that fund has not been released, it should not be, because government is gradually getting involved in what it should take its hands away from religion. Now, if you set aside 90 billion for Muslims going to Hajj, by implication, you will also have to set aside another 90 billion for Christians going to Jerusalem and to maybe Rome, and also maybe set aside another 90 billion for traditional worshippers, because there must not be discrimination. Every Nigerian is entitled to the commonwealth of the nation, and that 90 billion is from the commonwealth of the nation. Now, just recently in Niger State, there was a news report where the Speaker of the House set aside some money that he wanted to sponsor the wedding of some orphan girls in the state, and it created an uproar. And even the Minister of Women Affairs had to petition the Inspector General so that that activity will be stopped, and pressure was exerted on the speaker, and he withdrew from it. Now, if it is that bad that to sponsor a wedding of 100 orphans, why are we going to attribute goodness to setting aside 90 billion for subsidy to Hajj? Now, religion is a personal affair of people. It is an individual affair, and government should leave it for individuals. Those who have the money should go to Hajj or to pilgrimage. Government should not get involved in religion. We have enough challenges in the economy. We have enough challenges in the society that government should focus on. But you see, but we can help to advise government how they can better use their money, because it seems as if government has a lot of money to spend. Now, if you look at the 90 billion for Muslims going to Hajj, and another 90 for Christians, another 90 for traditional worshippers, so you're going to have about 270 billion available for government to spend on its citizens. Then we can also advise government that now, if this money is set aside, you can empower and create value in the system. Now, if you have a fund for those who are in school to go to school, why shouldn't we have a fund also for several millions of Nigerians that are out of school, are engaged in small businesses? They lack the resource, they lack the finances to push their businesses. So government can set up a cooperative fund for these people to be able to access interest-free loans that can help them to grow their businesses. And such businesses, with time, will add value to the system, and the economy will become a productive economy, because everyone is doing something that is productive. Now, this is how you can spend the 270 billion. Now, we have 36 states in Nigeria plus Abuja. That makes it, let's just say, 37 states. Now, if you go to those states and you take 3,000 people from each state, establish a fund, maybe a 1 trillion naira fund. Now, you already have a seed capital that government says it has. So you put in 270 billion as a seed capital. Empower 3,000 small businesses, whether it is salon business, hairdressing salon, barbers, maybe makeup business, disc jockeys, DJs, and several other small businesses that needs little empowerment. Now, if you give 2 million to each of these businesses across the 36 states plus Abuja 37 states, it means that you're going to be given, that's about 222 billion. Now look at it this way. 2 million per business. In a state, you pick 3,000 businesses in a cooperative and you empower them with 2 million naira each. You have deposited 222 billion in that investment. Now, that investment will grow and probably with the course of maybe between a year can employ 1 or 2 persons to work with them. Now, imagine the value you are creating in the system. Now, that is way better than the cash sharing formula government has been involved in. The cash transfer and all those stuff of transfer. It is far better. So you can establish this cooperative. And how is it going to function? Alongside you set up this cooperative, there must be monitoring mechanisms. So also government can empower what we call mystery evaluators who will randomly go across the states to understand if these businesses are on political patronages. If the businesses exist, they will blow the whistle. So people go around randomly to check the various people that are listed, because the names will be published, the businesses entitled, the names, the addresses, the owners of the business will be published so that people can go out to verify, just like you go out during the election to verify authenticity of certain names. So when we put these checks in, what you're simply doing is you're pulling resources together from different aspects of the society. You're empowering students in school to go back to school, create values for themselves. You're empowering those in small businesses to create value for themselves. It is way better than dashing money to people going on pilgrimage. So it's an established fact. Let's totally say, government, remove your hands entirely from religious activities. Allow the people who have the wherewithal to get involved in it. Government should concentrate on creating value. Now, this is one sure way to create value in the system. Now, let me quickly add that we are in the planting season. I'm not aware that plans have been made to empower farmers with seed capitals. Now, because whatsoever we farm this planting season would determine the harvest next year. So there is no way we can wish for bumper harvest next year if we have not sorted out how to empower the farmers with fertilizers, with inputs now. Now, not that government is planning. By now, the farmers should have all they take to plant and to nurture their plants. Because if it's not in place, it will affect the next year's harvest. Now, every time you hear that there is flooding and all that, houses destroyed, people displaced, what we forget to mention is farmland destroyed. And for every farmland you destroy, for every farmland destroyed by flooding, it simply means foodstuffs destroyed. Many years ago, I visited Dadinkowa in Gombe State, and I went to a particular community, vast farmland, flooded. And my host simply told me and said, look, that means the next harvest season will be very, very tough for the people in that community. And that is why government must do everything within its power to sustain the value creation, to sustain productive activity. And productive activity is not just in the four walls of the schools. There are small businesses spread around across the society on streets. People making fast food and all those pastries, small businesses. If we cluster them together, it is the cluster of these small businesses that becomes mega. So we might be focusing on, oh, we want a mega business. But you see, we can begin to focus our attention on growing the small businesses. And when we cluster them and empower them financially as a government, you create value. They create value for themselves, they create respect for themselves, and they become productive and create less problem for the society. And when they create less problem for the society, you will not have to spend all the money you were spending on security anymore. Because those who were busy in getting involved in destructive activities are now gainfully engaged in their businesses. in productive activities. And in no distant time, we can begin to have growth and productivity in the system. So the money for Hajj, for pilgrimage, take it out. Give it back to small businesses. Give it out to small businesses and watch and see how it will blow your job creation